On this episode of Sports Opinions Podcast for the date of March 4th, 2020, I have on another basically father figure that I've had in my life. I seem to have had a lot of those, but I think when you play sports and do this type of stuff for as long as you do, you get a lot of people that you look up to. But he is an avid Jets fan, avid Yankees fan, Joe Hackett Sr. He's the father of Joe Hackett from the Playbook, and Brittany Hackett, who I've had on this show. So the family connections are all there as well. Our families are very close as well. So it's very, it's a little bit of a family affair. But we talk about the evolution of football. He played football when he was younger. He was a coach at Pop Warner at high school level, so he gets it. We talk about the evolution and how it is evolving, what the game is like, what he likes and dislikes. Then we get into the New York Jets, which we are both fans of, what he would like to see them do for the offseason and kind of predictions and things like that. And then we talk Yankees, and they're piling up injuries and also a little bit of predictions going out there for what he thinks might happen throughout the season. So without any further ado, I hope everyone enjoys the show. What's up, sports fans, and welcome to the Sports Opinions Podcast. I am your host, as always, Alex Cuesta, and with me today is another one of those people that I've had a few on that I can directly point back and say, this person helped shape me into the person I currently am. Whether it's for better, for worse, I don't know. That's up to others to judge, but you've heard his daughter on the show. You've heard his son on this show. His son actually is a part of his own show on the network, and he actually has the music for this show and Cuesta Dos. He is an avid football Jets fan, high school football coach, everything in between, all-around great guy, Joe Hackett Sr. What's going on, Coach?
Nothing much, Alex. I'm really excited about being on your show. I've been listening to your podcast, and the conversations have been, just really good. I enjoy your show, and happy to be a part of it.
I really appreciate that. You're one of the 14 listeners. But yeah, no, it's always good. And I've said it before. One of the things I like to do is I have other people on. I have people that are in the sports spectrum. I've had, athletes on, media people. I just had a former pro cheerleader on in the last episode. But in the end, I'm a fan. And I like to bring on our other fans. And me and you have had some fantastic sports conversations.
We've had some great conversations. From high school sports to youth sports to professional sports. Yeah, we've had quite a few.
We've had quite a few, and a few actually pretty drunk ones over at Memorial Day over at your house.
Yeah, we won't get much into that, but yeah, we've had some good ones there.
We definitely have. So we're going to get in the meat and potatoes of the conversation because, as I've always said, this show is guest-centric. So we delved into what you wanted to talk about. And one of the things that interested me that you like to talk about is the direction that football is going. And I don't think you necessarily meant only in the pro section, because you coached all throughout Pop Warner and then you coached at the high school level. So you've coached at two different levels, and you've been to camps with the college coaches, and you've seen how things work there. So you've kind of seen it, and you also played back in the day. So You've seen it in so many different ways. I'll start off. What is different that you see now from even when you played?
You know what? The coaching, if I go into the coaching aspect of it, back in the day, it was in your face, and, you got an 8-year-old kid that some of these coaches are trying to talk to them like they're an adult, and the mindset has really changed on how you approach, how you, I'm trying to put it,
how you engage in the kids, I guess.
Yeah, because that old school way of screaming and yelling and getting in their face, and you got to tone back a little bit. You got to remember, especially, and now I'm talking about the youth. I'm talking about young kids. a coach's primary job at that age, and they all lose sight of this, make the kid love the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your job. Teach them basics. They'll learn as they go, and they'll have, dads as coaches, and then they'll go right up into professional coaches, people that do it for a living. And but your main thing is to get them to love the game, and that's something that I really learned from it. And hey, I was guilty of it too. And I remember the first year coaching Pop Warner football, and you got these kids, they're 7 years old, and you're, hit them, knock them down, tackle them. Yeah, all their lives, you're teaching these kids at home, be respectful, be nice, do this. Then all of a sudden you put a helmet on and you're telling them to kill a kid. And when you sit back and you think about it, you're like, wow, I shouldn't have did that. I should have did it this way. And I think that's something that youth sports in particular needs a different mindset in coaching.
It's good you bring up youth sports, because I was kind of at the end of the coaches being able to yank on the face mask generation. Yeah. That was a thing where coaches want to get your attention quickly. They'd snap your face mask and pull you close in and talk to you. We had that. I had that kind of, and it went away pretty quick when I was young.
Right.
But, one of the things that I've noticed is, and this is football wide, in the name of safety, things have changed. But one of the things that I've seen is, as we've gotten technologically better with the padding, with the helmets, with things like that, coach, there's a lot less proper technique being taught. And even when I've seen certain ways that they're trying to teach kids tackling, it's no more head to the football, head up, shoulder down. It's a lot more stand up and try and grab them, which, I guess is safer in terms of less contact.
Right.
But I think just it creates tentativeness. And one thing that, me and you both being former players, and anyone that's ever played football knows, if you're tentative in football, you're going to get hurt. It's a guarantee that you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, when I was young, you were taught, put your face mask right in the chest. And it's not like that no more. Now it's slide your head to the side, wrap, roll. It's a whole different technique. But it's got to be done right, and it's for the safety of the game. And, concussions, I think that's why the numbers are down in football. And I see it in a lot of the youth organizations right now, where a lot of teams, you have different towns merging together because they're not getting the numbers that they used to get. And the big fear, especially in football, is concussions. You know all about them. I know all about them. I've seen quite a few of them. I've had them.
Unfortunately, your son, Joe, one of the big contributors to Sports Opinions, he suffered from his good share of concussions, which he had a promising career at middle linebacker. A lot of people don't know. They've heard Joe on the playbook. They've heard Joe on this show. He was a tough kid. He wasn't always he was a little undersized for the position.
Absolutely.
But he had a brain for the game. He could read the positions. And, barring concussions, he maybe isn't playing at a big Division I level, whatever, but he's playing at the next level if he chose to.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah, and that's another thing. Division I. If you have ever been on the field with a Division I athlete, that's a whole nother animal right there. Especially, and you see it at the high school level. You see that one kid that's going to go to a Division I school, and he's just a man playing with boys out there.
Yep.
I know a lot of parents, they don't want to hear it. They think their kid's a superstar and they're going to get a Division I scholarship, but they're very few in between, and you got to be really something special to make it to that level.
You do. And ultimately, are you a fan of the direction the NFL is taking football? There's a lot less contact in the preseason. I feel like we're seeing a lot less technique, a lot less tackling. Hard hits are being penalized when they're perfectly good hard hits. We're both Jets fans. We see Jamal Adams lay beautiful form tackles and then getting penalized. do you like where the NFL's going?
There's two sides to that. The one side is, no, you can't take that out of the game. It's a violent game. It is what it is. You want to try and make it safe, but you also can't take a 240-pound man running at full speed.
Who runs a 4.8, 4.7.
Yeah, exactly. and make them stop, one step before. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. And if it does, a lot of times you'll see that player go down with an injury.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing more injuries. Guys trying to avoid, hey, they all want to make the highlight film. I get that. But, hey, it's part of the game. So, even on the quarterbacks, some of the things that were called on the quarterbacks, roughing the passer.
Burping the quarterback's a new one that we've been around football our whole lives. Have you ever heard of burping the quarterback before?
No,
the last 2 years?
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. They're going to get hit. And that's just the way it is. And there again, I was watching the combine the other day and I see a 369-pound man running a 5.1. Now,
that's absurd.
Are you going to stop him in one or two steps? No, you're not. So let's get real about it. And, I understand trying to make it safer, leading with the crown of your helmet. Yeah, I get that. The hits on a defenseless receiver. Some of them, there again, if you're leading with the helmet, you take a headshot, yeah, you get called for it. But two guys just playing football, no, I'm sorry. So
one of the things that annoys me, Joe, is I get the leading with the crown of the helmet. And they said that there's an emphasis last year that was going to be called on the ball carrier. Yep. I didn't see it because every game you watch, some of the highlights is when ball carriers quite literally put their head down and truck guys. And they're using their heads as a weapon, and I've never seen it called against them. And that frustrates me because if you're trying to say that make it safe, call it both ways.
Hey, and you know what? I can't agree with you more. I'm glad you brought that up. Because, that guy puts his helmet down, that's no different than a defender. So,
maybe worse because he knows the direction he's trying to go. His intention, he knows exactly where he's trying to get to each time, where the defender's trying to predict it.
Right. And their argument is they're putting their head down to lean forward to get that extra yard.
Well, I'm putting my head down as a defender to lean forward and get to you quicker. It's the same argument.
Exactly right. Yeah, you hit it on the head there. So, the game, like I said, it's you got to try and make it safer. But are you going to take all the elements out of it? Absolutely not.
So have you been watching the XFL at all, Joe?
I've watched a little bit of it. And you know what? It's a little better football than I thought it was going to be. I think it's a good line between college and NFL. I like some of the things they're doing.
Yeah, we mentioned safety. That kickoff, I think, is the perfect way. The NFL needs to take it next year because that is the perfect way to keep the kickoff in the game, but make it we haven't seen a single hint at an injury from one of those kickoffs.
No, it's been great. You're seeing less penalties, blocks in the back and all of that. You see them here and there, but not like the NFL.
And I think we saw our first major injury over this weekend where I didn't get the report, but it seemed like it was a neck injury where a defender or a defensive back was going to try and tackle a running back. He stuck his head in it. He got his neck hurt. Yep. He gave the thumbs up on the way out. I didn't follow up on it, but that's really the only major injury I've seen this whole season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're doing a fantastic job. And, the games that I've watched, I haven't watched it real close, but on a Saturday or Sunday, if I'm sitting at home, I'll put it on and I'll watch it. I like
Joe, me and David are homering for the XFL every week we do Cuesta Dos. We are absolutely homering. We did it for the AAF and the AAF died quickly, so we're trying to keep the XFL going.
Right. And you know what? There's some things that other football league there, the AAF or
AAF, yep.
there's a couple things I really liked in that also. That I love that Sky Judge.
Yep.
Where he looks down, a flag's thrown, and he'll call down and say, "Hey, listen, he didn't touch him. Pick that flag up." And you know what? It's a done deal. So things like that, I think the NFL could learn from and maybe adopt some of their policies.
Yep, the NFL definitely has a lot of learning to do, and it is nice to see these experimental leagues doing this type of stuff, because then we get to see how it is in full speed with guys who have pro caliber talent doing it. I think even more in the AAF, the XFL shows, just by, I've harped on it before, but the offensive line play alone shows me that these guys are pros. There is nice pockets being created. Quarterbacks aren't getting killed. Joe, have you felt the football yet? I got David one of those Guardians footballs. It's a different ball.
Yeah, he actually brought it here right before the season started. He came over and he watched some of the games with us. Your brother's great. I love the kid.
He's all right. Don't toot his horn, Joe.
I got to put a shout out to him because he's here every Sunday. Avid Jet fan as I am, me and my son, and he's just part of the team when we sit down and every Sunday watch the games, So but anyway, he brought the ball over, and it's similar but different.
It's a slick ball. It is much slicker than an NFL ball, and it's a little fatter than the NFL balls.
Yep.
So, I could definitely see the challenge with some of these quarterbacks throwing the ball. And when we see some drops, it's a little different because it's a different trajectory with the ball coming and the speed. So it's interesting. If anyone has a chance to feel an XFL ball, go feel it, because then you'll understand the challenges that guys that come from playing in college and then playing some in the pro level and now to XFL, it's different.
Absolutely. And I tell you, speaking of the ball and going from college to the NFL or XFL, whatever, the kickers, the kicking game, wow, it's been challenged this year because you're seeing more and more misses.
And I don't get it, Joe, because the extra points are misses a lot now. Joe, when we grew up and when you grew up, a 30-yarder was automatic. That's Absolutely. An automatic. Now they struggle kicking 30-yarders for a single point. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, and it's all over the NFL. It's not just, one team, one guy struggling. No, it's all over. So I like what they did moving the extra point back.
I like the XFL's extra point even better.
They actually took the kicking game out of it.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
And I'm okay with that too. But, at the rate that these guys are missing it, you hold your breath. There's no more automatic.
But one thing you notice, Joe, with the XFL, they've taken the kickers out of the extra point, but they're doing pretty good kicking just regular field goals. The percentages are pretty high in the XFL for just their field goal kicking. So maybe less pressure, maybe letting these guys just focus on their jobs as a kicker instead of doing the extracurriculars with the extra point actually would help them be better kickers.
Yeah, I get it. And, I like what they're doing with that 1, 2, and 3 points.
Yeah. No 3-pointers yet, but a lot of 2-pointers, a lot of 2-point attempts. So it's been fun.
Absolutely.
So switching gears, we're going to jump to, we talked about struggling kickers in a franchise that let go of a Pro Bowl kicker in Jay Myers, former Marist Red Fox, who I'm always proud of that guy.
Right.
But the Jets had really been struggling since Jay 2 years ago, and before that they struggled.
Right.
But overall, as a team, they overachieved last year with a team that definitely I don't think was as good as their record.
I agree with that.
What would you like to see the Jets do right now in the offseason or the upcoming, draft free agency things are coming up? What is something that you would like to see the Jets do?
Well, what I would like to do, the offensive line. You need to shore up that offensive line. Right now, from what the reports and everything, the Jets are really going after Conklin, a tackle from Tennessee. He's outstanding. That's on the field, he's probably one of the top 5, offensive linemen. I believe he is in the NFL right now. Run blocker, definitely a top 5, maybe top 12 in a pass. But with him, it's going to be the money. He's probably going to go and want to get he'll be the highest paid offensive lineman tackle this year. That's the only downside to him. But hey, you know what? You got to protect that quarterback.
You got to protect Sam Darnold because we've seen what Sam can do when he's standing up there in the pocket and not getting pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to take the next step too, which I really believe he will. I really like the kid. You see that when he goes into that panic mode when he gets pressure. That's going to go away as the game slows down for him.
God, we hope so.
Yeah. And now with the offensive line too. You get Le'Veon Bell going. You saw he didn't do much last year.
But he also had no holes to work with.
And that's exactly it. So, the offensive line is the number one thing you have to do on that team.
Definitely. So with that, the Jets are also drafting at number 11 this year. Do you go offensive line there too if it's available? Do you really just go full on sort of like Dallas Cowboys, Tennessee Titans style, where they have those probably are the 2 best offensive lines in football right now, and you see what they do with Zeke Elliott and Derrick Henry?
Exactly, and I agree 100% with that. I'll be shocked if they go with anything other than an offensive lineman at number 11.
Even if Alabama's Jerry Jeudy is sitting right there ready to be picked because he's an outstanding wide receiver.
Yes, he is. But you know what? You're not going to get him the ball if you can't give Darnold time.
Couldn't agree with him more.
You got to protect him. There's some free agency coming up with receivers who I would like to see him go after in the free agency is Stephon Diggs.
I love Stephon Diggs, and I've loved him out of college. They just picked up Josh Doxson, which is, reuniting him and Jamison Crowder. They both are from Washington. Doxson's a good big play guy. That also tells me Robbie Anderson's leaving.
Yeah, and Robbie Anderson, hey, look, I like the kid, but he's not worth what he's asking.
14 mil.
Yeah, he's not a number 1 receiver. He's a number 2 at best. And even at that, he fumbles a lot. He drops the ball a lot. Hey, he's fast as hell. And
his route tree isn't great.
Yeah, exactly. So, he'll make that one play that you'll be like, wow, this guy's great. And then the next play he gets hit and he fumbles the ball. And, so to bring that kind of money, nah.
So here's the main question. If Robbie Anderson somehow gets $14 million from somewhere, you got to think that's going to put Stephon Diggs in that sort of same area because I think he's a better receiver overall.
I agree 100%.
Are you willing to pay Diggs that type of money?
Well, you know what? It depends. What's he looking to get? Probably the 14, 18 million.
Probably, for me, I wouldn't pay more than 10 for Robbie and 12 for Diggs. That's kind of where my line is, but the market gets reset all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And, now they're talking about this 17 game, moving it up to 17 games.
That's going to affect the contracts majorly.
Oh, big time. So we'll see where that goes. But, there's some pretty good, you have, what's his name? Alshon Jeffrey. Now, you know what? He's more of a guy that you can bring in for a leadership role.
And I like Alshon.
I do too. He's a big body. He's a good possession receiver, great route runner. Yeah, he's older. He's slowed down quite a bit. But, somebody like that, if you get him the right price, then I could go after someone like that.
So we're, jumping onto the defensive end. At number 11, I'm going back to that draft pick. Say there's no offensive lineman you like, no wide receivers. Are we going to get an edge rusher ever? And, since God. Johnny Abraham and Sean Ellis, we're going back almost 20 years now that it's been since we've had a pass rusher that's legitimate.
Yeah. And, wow. That's something I think you may want to go after in free agency. You don't want to pay too much there again. You can't get locked into that. If you find a great edge rusher at number 11, uh, yeah, I still go with that offensive lineman.
Okay. It's just tough to see Jamal Adams being the best edge rusher year after year.
Well, yeah.
He's so dynamic, but it's like, come on. I don't want him to be our best edge rusher.
No, and he shouldn't be. You bring him up to the line of scrimmage once in a while, every now and then. He reminds me a lot of Troy Polamalu.
He does in a lot of ways. Obviously Troy's a Hall of Famer and one of the best ever.
Yeah,
because he did it for a decade plus doing that type of style.
Absolutely. Where Adams, he's just getting rolling, but he is a game changer. He's an impact player, and you got to keep him.
Now, how much more of a leash are you giving Marcus May? He's been injured a lot the last 2 years. Fantastic talent when he's on the field, and he kind of makes that Troy Polamalu, Ryan Clark kind of tandem when he's healthy. But it's been far and in between, and I love Marcus May. I wanted to get the guy's jersey, but I'm very tentative because he's never on the field.
Yeah, last year he did well. He stayed fairly healthy the whole year. He played outstanding. You see the potential. And if you could keep that tandem between May and,
May and Adams, yep.
Yeah, you got something special going on there. But defensively, your linebackers, okay? They were all hurt last year.
That's an understatement.
You were playing with practice squad guys, and for what they did and how they played, I thought was outstanding. And there again, we're talking about overachieving. It was good. So hopefully we could get our linebacker core together.
Yep.
Keep them healthy, and get a good corner.
Yeah, Greg Williams was outstanding. And I love Blashawn Austin from Rutgers. I feel like he found him spot. I like him as a nickel corner. That's where I see him. He did a great job filling in as a flanker corner on the outside.
Now, I think I saw some reports that they were talking with the corner from Carolina. What the heck's his name? Bradbury?
I think so. Any big name corner scares me now after True went so bad.
Oh my God! Yeah,
True he just couldn't be a man up corner.
Yeah, he's definitely got to go. And I think once free agency hits, I think he's going to be one of the casualties there.
He has to be, and I think he knows he has to be. He knows he hasn't played up to his potential.
Yeah. So, but get a good cornerback, and it is Bradbury from Carolina.
Okay,
he's a little inconsistent, but he's young, and you can. He looks like he's going to go in the right direction.
So, Joe, you ready for this? I'm going to brighten your spirits a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because me and you both want to see the Jets in the Super Bowl. I don't know if we're going to see the Jets in the Super Bowl. But I noticed this thing with I was talking to my brother, and I noticed this little correlation that could make us Jets fans very happy. So, in the 80s, it was Jim Kelly and the Bills dominating the AFC East, correct? They went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Lost all 4, but definitely one of the most forgotten dominant franchises in the game.
Absolutely.
Right after that, it was Dan Marino and the Dolphins, and they were fantastic. Marino went to a Super Bowl, I think, as a rookie, and then, was just great throughout that Miami team. They had some good teams. The last 20 years, it's been New England. It's the Jets' turn, Joe. At least give me half a decade in a Super Bowl. I don't care. If you give me 5 years in a Super Bowl, I'm the happiest person on the planet.
I tell you, our latest run was with
Sanchez and that team.
Yeah, and boy, wow, things have changed. Parcells was a head coach there, and 2 AFC championship games. But I tell you what,
it was Rex Ryan there, and Parcells should have been in the AFC Championship if John Hall.
You're right.
If John Hall doesn't miss a field goal,
that's right.
In a year where he was automatic, the Jets are in the Super Bowl with Testaverde and Keyshawn.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking way before that. So,
You were. Oh, this was Rex and Sanchez.
yeah,
And I have to
Rex
say,
and
I'm going to
Sanchez.
go on the record. Sanchez wasn't the greatest quarterback, but I don't care what quarterback you are. They took away a piece at wide receiver every single year from him
Oh,
and
absolutely.
didn't replace it with anything great and expected him to
Absolutely.
be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he was horrible. He was an average NFL quarterback that can manage a game.
Yeah. He went from Cottery, Edwards, and Holmes, and then I think they got rid of Edwards, and it was just Cottery and Holmes, and then they got
Yep.
rid of Cottery, and then it was just Holmes and guys.
Right.
And what the hell do you expect him to do? His group's not there. No
Yep.
one's there.
Uh, he had two good linemen, and the rest were kind of deteriorating at that
Yep.
point. And yeah, the team just, and in all fairness, Rex Ryan, I really liked him. I thought, but they didn't give him the right tools.
They gave him Tebow, who he didn't want, and he let them know. He wasted a full year just to let the front office know, you gave me Tebow and I didn't want him.
I know. Yep.
He did
So,
not care.
but right now, boy, that Kansas City Chief team, boy, that's something. They are something special, and I think that's your next AFC team that's going to be up there for the next few years.
I'm really happy for Andy Reid if that's the case, because that man
Oh,
deserves so much.
absolutely, and he's got one hell of a quarterback there too.
So speaking of hell of a quarterback, before we switch over to our next topic, where's Tom Brady playing next year?
I can't see him leaving New England. I know there's teams. There were just reports San Francisco was interested in him.
Oh my God, Jimmy Garoppolo! I think would just kill. I think he would kill Tom Brady. I
Yeah,
think he would actually murder him.
exactly. But I don't see him leaving anywhere. I like, you look at Eli Manning, and that's the way Brady should go out. Same way, same team. Him and Belichick, probably the best tandem the NFL has ever seen.
Yep.
Arguably, but yeah.
I think it is the best. I think it's better than Montana and Noel.
Yeah, absolutely. Or right there,
Yeah.
Don't forget, Montana never lost the Super Bowl.
But Montana didn't go to like 10 of them.
No, he didn't go
So,
to 10 of them.
and so there's a difference there. There's got to be some excellence to that.
Absolutely. I guess that little bit of New England hatred in me came out there.
Oh, I agree. I would, as much as I would love to agree with you, it's like, yeah, Montana didn't lose them, but Montana only went to the ones that he won. He didn't go to as many.
Yeah. Hey, my hat off to those two. They're Brady and Belichick. They're just that's a special tandem right there.
See, my Jets fan in me is convinced that Giselle Bundchen was the pants in that family, and she's done living in the Northeast, so they're going west. And I think he's either retiring or he's playing in San Diego or in Vegas or LA or Vegas. Those are his destinations. Because Phillip Rivers is gone. That's a good running back in Melvin Gordon and Eckler there if Melvin Gordon does come back. Yeah. Keenan Allen's a very talented receiver. The defense is good. And in Vegas, he'd be the star of a basically brand new franchise in Vegas. Right, Gruden wants him. That could be fun.
Yeah. I can't picture it. I just can't see it.
You look at him, if he goes to the Raiders, that'll be kind of like a la Rich Gannon going to the Raiders and giving them that big boost when basically started the lore of Tom Brady with the Tuck rule.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? If he does go to another team, I can't see it, but if he does, he's going to demand excellence, and he's going to bring average players up, to another level.
He's done it his whole career.
And that's it, and that's when, you look at the New England teams and everything, and they say, hey, name that guy, name it. They're just.
Name a wide receiver from his first 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Exactly. Deion Branch, Tim Brown, the not good Tim Brown. Like, it's not easy. It's really not easy to name his wide receivers.
And then somebody comes up, gets hurt. Edelman gets hurt, and they bring this guy off the bench you never even heard of. He came from some college in, St. Mary in Illinois. and this kid's a superstar. It's like, but
Joe, I'm convinced Edelman was hatched. Edelman, they took a little DNA from Welker, made him a little bit taller on a computer, and then they just hatched Edelman.
Bro, that's coaching, and that's also
Scouting.
Unbelievable. That's Brady, bringing these kids up to that level, demanding it, not asking it, demanding it. And, Belichick, same way,
And that goes back to the old school versus new school that we talk about where, I don't know how much demanding is going on from a lot of, how much I don't know much about Patty Mahomes in terms of a person.
Right.
But
right.
I don't know how much demanding is going on there where a guy like Aaron Rodgers is a little more old school. You hear all the negative reports about Rodgers because I guarantee he's more of an old school demanding stuff type of guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could just see it in the personalities.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But yeah, it's I don't know. This season should be fun.
Well, hopefully Brady's not in the league or somewhere besides
God.
New England.
Just go to another division, please. I had enough.
Oh, man. All right, so we're going to switch gears, and it's interesting you said you've had enough because I've had enough already of injuries for the New York Yankees.
Oh, my God.
We're both Yankees fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said it on Cuesta Dos with David on Monday. Already Severino out for the season. Stanton with injury number X. It doesn't matter. He's hopefully going to be ready by opening day. Yeah. And now Aaron Judge with this mystery injury started off with a sore shoulder. Now it's his pec. The MRI came back clear, but they're doing more tests. Like, when is it going to end with the stars?
And now, you go back. It started out with Severino. Then you got Paxton. He's out until at least May with back surgery.
Forgot about Paxton.
Yeah, Paxton. Then you got Hicks.
Hicks is always hurt.
Yeah, and he's out. They expect him back sometime in June, and there's another Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, but for how long is he going to be back for is always the question.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, you're given it's something about them pinstripes. They just put a guy in pinstripes and he lights it up. So there's a lot of young guys that are going to get a chance to play and show their stuff this year. So, as bad as it is, you know what? I'm confident the Yankees are going to be right there in October.
So, Joe, we have, as Yankees fans, as Yankees brass, they have a little bit of a good dilemma between Gio Urshela and he was just in my head. He's coming back. What's his name? The third baseman that was a monster beforehand. Oh, my God. Andujar. There it is. Miguel Andujar.
Oh,
yeah. So it's a good dilemma. They're both third basemen. And Andujar is taking reps in left field and hopefully can get that.
Right.
But say they both come back. They're both hitting the ball really well. They're both playing good baseball.
Yep.
Do you put one on the trading block to try and shore up either pitching or outfield or do something and make this team better?
That's interesting right there. Wow. The way the injuries have gone, I kind of keep them both. That would be hard, but I don't know what you do there. You got an interesting point, and which one? Which one do you put up?
And it's interesting because if you're looking for, the guy that can be the silver slugger is definitely Andujar. Andujar's bat is insane. But Gio Urshela kind of showed, along with DJ LeMahieu last year, that you don't need the silver slugger award to be a great hitter. They were both just very clutch, timely, Bernie Williams-esque hitters where they're just getting the hits when needed and keeping the games going with little dinks and dunks here.
Right. And I agree with that. Boy, that's a tough one.
Put you on the spot.
It is. You are putting me on the spot there. Our bats, I'm not concerned at all about that. It's the pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And losing Severino was huge. Paxton, those two were huge. But now you picked up, what's his name? from the Astros.
Garrett Cole,
Cole.
who's an innings eater.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be huge. And I really think, I think he's going to make a big difference.
I'd hope so. And we need Paxton to come back healthy when he can, if he does come back this year, because God knows complications are a thing with the Yankees right now. So one of the things that concerns me with the Yankees rotation now, where it went from being arguably the best in the league to now being another middling rotation, our bullpen is still the best in the league, and it's not even close. But what we saw last year is the bullpen got so used up that by the end of the year, your studs like your Zach Brittons, your Adam Ottavinos, your great guys that are so clutch started really faltering because their arms were exhausted from having to go sixth inning on every single game because starters aren't starters anymore, Joe.
Well, you know what?
And 5 innings is useless to me as a starter.
It. And you know what? I was just going to go there, and they're getting used up because the starters, they used to go 7, 8 innings, 6 innings minimum.
They had to drop quality start to 5 1/3 because no one's going 6 1/3 anymore. And that's awful.
It really is. But, you look at how hard these guys are throwing and everything. Hey, the human body could only take so much. I mean, look at the Tommy John surgeries you're seeing now. It's like a common surgery. Years ago, that was like, wow, he's getting Tommy John surgery. He's done.
Even position players are getting it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's just like a common surgery. Yeah, I'm going to go get Tommy John in the offseason. I'll be good as new. And wow, it's changed. It's really changed. But yeah, you're not asking the starters to do what they used to do. We want to get 5 solid innings and then we'll bring in 6 relievers between the 5th and 9th inning.
Yeah, but who cares about how those guys are going to feel throughout the year? We want 5 solid innings, 100 pitches at most, which to me, the pitch count is the most embarrassing thing in the league's ever seen. It's so stupid.
Yep, I agree.
This is where I think analytics goes wrong in baseball because analytics failed the Yankees last year because the Yankees followed it to a T and their bullpen got tired. And it ended up costing them a chance at a World Series.
And I agree with that. And, analytics, how's the guy feel? That's what I want to know. I don't care how many pitches he's thrown. If he threw 60 pitches or 110 pitches, how does he feel? Is he still doing it? If he's still doing it and he feels good, let him go.
Yeah.
Now they're to the point, well, hey, he threw 100 pitches. Get him.
Can't see the third time in the lineup. Can't let him go through a third time. That's statistically when guys hit them. I'm like, no, stop. He's feeling good. Let him go.
Yeah, let him
They can't hit him.
Exactly right. So.
And this is where guys that I like your Dusty Bakers, your Tito Franconas, your Buck Showalters, who are, there's not as many of those guys anymore. And even to an extent, Joe Girardi, yes, he had his binder, but he was still pretty old school. If he sent out Larry Rothschild to the mound, and Rothschild came back and said, listen, CC said you take him out, he's going to kill you. He's like, all right, I trust him. He trusted his guys. There has to be a trust there.
Absolutely.
That they could say, listen, I got another batter or 2 in me. Give me 2 more. If you see me falter, take me out. Or no, don't take me out this inning. I'm good. They got to be able to run with that. And they don't do it anymore.
Yeah. And you know what? The pitcher's got to be honest, too.
And I think that's to do with the relationship with the manager. No pitcher's going to be honest anymore.
Right. And to me, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Be honest with me. What's going on? How do you feel? Do you think don't give me, I can think. Either you can do it or you can't. If you can't, I'll get you the hell out of the game. Live to play the next game, But if you can do it, stay in. Have at it.
Now, Larry Rothschild's out as the pitching coach of the Yankees. I heard the new guy's name. It's gone already. I heard him in an interview on the Fan. But we'll know his name quickly if this pitching is an issue. If Garrett Cole doesn't come out and throw a gem in his first game and struggles, and if we see Tanaka and his struggles early in the year that he always has.
Yeah, I mean, well, Tanaka, he pitched the other night. I mean, I think I'm not sure how many innings he went. I think he might have went either three or five. But anyway, he looked like he was in mid form.
It's all about the splitter. If that split finger's going, then he's good.
Yeah, yeah. So, hopefully Tanaka will, he won't have that falter like he usually does.
I think he's due. Every year he's due. He has that little period where he needs to refigure it out. But then if we get to the playoffs, he's the best player in the game.
And yeah, you're right. I don't, there's not a doubt in my mind that the Yankees are going to make the playoffs this year. There's really not. I expect them there. And I always say they don't start playing until after the All-Star break.
Yeah, no.
Hey, we need another championship. And I think Boston's in big trouble this year.
Hopefully. I hope they're in trouble for the next decade.
Hopefully, yeah. They actually, the Yankees played them in spring training the other day, too. I think they beat them 9-1, something like that. I don't care if it's a spring game or not. Just seeing them beat them, it puts a smile on my face.
So one of the things that's going to really interest me is seeing the back end of that rotation. Your Jordan Montgomery, when he comes back, he's coming back healthy. He's a big lefty. Yep. A lot of people forgot about him, but he went 10-10 2 years ago as a fifth starter and was very good. Yep. Then you have Loaisaga, who showed promise, but then really faltered. And then, the Domingo Germán deserves a second chance. I hope he's contrite for what he did. It's unfortunate. I don't want to see him on the field. Because you have the gall to hit your significant other in front of everybody and think it's not a problem. That's a problem in my eyes. That's a morals problem.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, and we'll see where that goes.
It's unfortunate. What happens behind closed doors is still wrong, but at least I guess it shows some sort of shame that you're not doing it out in public. I think he did it right in front of someone in like the office of the commissioner and didn't think anything of it.
Really?
Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know the whole story, what exactly went down, but it wasn't good.
No, but he will be back at some point this year. And again, as much as it's, athletes get second chances at everything. So we're definitely, when he gets on there, Yankees fans, we're going to grit our teeth and root for him. So again, hoping his progression occurs is something I'm going to watch for the pitching coach and everything.
Right.
So let's end this on a good note.
Sure.
Are you a person that wants to see whoever is pitching on May 15th against the Houston Astros throw a beanball at Springer right away?
Oh, boy. That's you know what? As a Yankee fan, I'd love to see him beat him, but let's be professional about it.
Don't go that route, Joe. Don't do it.
I hate to. And as a fan, I want to see him, get up and just lay one on the side of his head. But, I look at it like, hey, they cheated the Yankees out of a championship. And
the Yankees and the Dodgers, both teams have a gripe.
Well, yeah. So
and the Sox at that point, because the Sox weren't cheaters yet. They were cheaters the next year when Cora went over there.
Exactly. But here's the thing. That championship is always going to be tarnished.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And, wow. That's just, when that all came out, I was like, oh, man.
It's even worse that Rob Manfred is done nothing to the players and is defending it.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem that I had with the Mets coach, with them letting him go. And
Beltran.
And the thing is, he was a player at the time, and nobody else was penalized. So, I got mixed feelings about that. What they did by letting everybody go down in Houston, I agree with that. But I think the players also should be held accountable for
without a doubt.
And it's
but you know what, though? I've said it to David. I've said it to everyone that will listen. There's a lot of stars on that team. Springer, Bregman, Correa, Gurriel, Altuve.
Yeah.
There's those guys. That's stars. They make money for the MLB. They're not kicking all those guys out for any amount of time at the same time.
No.
They're not going to do it. There's no suspension going to come down for all those guys.
You know what? There were no fines. which that's where you hit those guys. Hit them
But
in
you
the
know what,
wallet.
Joe? If with something like this, if you find them and you're saying that they did this, they're going to demand. People are going to demand suspensions. You can't just find them for this. This is either you suspend them or you do nothing. And Rob Manfred said, "We need to make money.
And
We're behind the NBA and the NFL and trending downward. We got to keep these guys in the game."
you know what? And you know my feeling on that as far as suspensions. If you were caught doing something like that, hey, you know the old saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying to win.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get caught and there's got to be consequences. And that's the problem I have. And I think they should be suspended, should be fined. Yeah, it's all about the almighty dollar with the MLB, with all sports.
I mean, but fortunately, there's a lot of funny things going on. I don't know if you saw Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs was mic'd up the other day when he was at bat, and he was basically saying like, "Oh, trying to figure out what this pitch is." And the one woman comes on. She was a commentator, I guess. Goes, "Do you have any idea what's coming up?" He's like, "I have no idea. I wish someone over there would hit a trash can or something for me." And
Yeah. Hey, you know what? They're going to be the brunt of a lot of jokes.
a lot of guys are pissed. I wouldn't be, apparently there's going to be heavy, steep penalties on pitchers that throw at these guys. Wouldn't be
Yes.
surprised if it happens anyway. Some guys have pride.
Oh yeah, the MLB came out and said, "Listen, they're better. There shouldn't be any of this. It better not happen. There will be penalties." And hey, you know what? What, you're going to give him a penalty, but you're not going to give him a penalty for cheating?
And that's what guys are saying.
Cheating? It's yeah. So yeah, you know what? A guy making $15 million a year. If it costs me $100,000 to bean somebody in the side of the head, yeah, I might do it.
100 grand in a few games. I'll go take a quick long weekend. I'll be good.
Exactly.
I haven't seen my wife probably in a while at that point. I'm a baseball player on the road all the time. I'm good.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We'll see.
All right. Last thing before we go.
Yes.
Are the Yankees winning a championship this year? Yes or no?
Yes.
There it is. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
I think they can.
That's what I like to hear. This is going to be Torres's breakout year as the MVP. I'm calling that too.
Okay.
Hell yeah. But all right, Joe, with that, it's going to conclude this episode. Joe, thank you so much for coming on.
Alex, it was my pleasure. It was great having a conversation with you. I haven't talked with you like that in a while. And,
it's been a long time.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see you guys. And yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Without a doubt. Again, he is Joe Hackett Sr., the father of the one, the only Joe Hackett Jr. of the Playbook. And also Brittany Hackett, who I had on a long time ago. She was actually the first female voice on this show, so that is a privilege. And Joe, I don't know, you social media savvy? Do you have any social media plugs where people can hear you now?
Not really. I just kind of keep a low profile, follow my little Twitter sites, and
he's old school. He don't want no one knowing anything about him. He don't want
That's it.
But I'm Alex Cuesta, host of the Sports Opinions Podcast. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at @A_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30, Instagram, Sports Opinions 30. Search for us on Facebook. Go give us a like there. And anywhere you can listen to the show, you can find it. Give us a good review and rating. And also send emails if you want to be a guest. If you want to tell me anything. You want to tell me I'm good. You want to tell me I suck. You want to tell me Joe is awesome and he should host a show. Give me anything. Send me an email. sportsopinions30@gmail.com. Real easy to reach me that way. So again, Joe, any last words before we sign off here?
It was a pleasure, Alex. Always a pleasure talking to you. Best to you and your family, and talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Hope to see you soon, Joe. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Sports Opinions Podcast. Have a good one, all.